see some of these federal restrictions still in place. As we see provinces are opening up, and the world is opening up, and even to that point, there's countries with less vaccination rates than Canada, and they've opened up. Could you highlight a little bit more about how that affects some of the farmers today?
It comes down to a couple of things. Number one is mental health. Our farmers work very hard, and they understand the role that they play in terms of not only the economy but feeding the country and feeding the world in many cases. So when they're feeling, I guess neglected would be the word, for lack of a better description, is that the mental health impact on them has been profound, as they're not able to do the things that they need to do, access the labor they need to access, as we talked about. But they take a lot of pride in what they do, and they know they go through the hardships of weather and commodity prices. But now when, whether it's trucking mandates that are based on no science and no data,
That's right.
Makes zero sense. And now threatening interprovincial trucking mandates, it'll be impossible for them to do their job as we try to move commodities not only internationally but across provincial boundaries. It just doesn't make sense. So I sense in speaking with them their anxiety, and now we're at a real crunch. We have a massive feed crisis, in a shortage across Western Canada. The trucking mandates have made that worse. Now a potential CP strike in the next week or two.
Yeah, that's right.
We are going to face a disastrous animal health crisis, as we literally don't have feed. Cattle, pork, poultry, all of these different things. So it's been bad enough for Canadian producers over the last 2 years, but now we are hitting a crisis point. And to see the inaction by the Liberal government, or not even inaction, but doubling down on some of these programs, where every other country in the world and all the provinces and territories are starting to take down these mandates and restrictions. And it's nonsensical for our federal government to go the other way.
Just to that point, what do you think that the government should be doing, or what they shouldn't be doing, both, because it goes both ways, in order to help our agriculture industry? Just as you touched on the point that feed is we're going to have a crisis for that. This is another time that Canada could have stepped up and also sent feed to places like Ukraine or Poland, where people are currently fleeing to, right? Canada could be a leader in that, but we can't even solve some of the problems we have at home right now. So what do you think that the government should be doing? What have you been pushing for them to do, and what do they need to kind of get out of the way from, so people can succeed?
Well, we've certainly this has highlighted some of the weak links in our supply chain. And as anything, right? You say it's as strong as your weakest link. Well, right now we have several weak links, and a lot of that comes down to Liberal government neglecting some key issues. In 2015, when we were still in government, we did a massive review of the Canadian Transportation Act with a number of recommendations. So Liberals have been in government since then for 6 years. They have not followed up on any of those recommendations, including improving our infrastructure, improving access to ports. So absolutely, Jas, we could be there to augment wheat supply, corn, barley, that is going to be lost because Ukrainian farmers would be starting to plant right now.
That's right.
Well, that's not going to happen most likely. So we're going to have to try and fill that void. But if we can't even get our products to market, to the ports where, we're going to have a rail strike or possibly the ports have, we've seen a massive crisis on shipping containers. Whereas you take that in comparison to what's happened in the United States. As soon as they saw some of these things happening, they appointed a shipping czar and put in very punitive fines for any shipping company that did not meet their contracts or were kind of playing games with shipping containers and shipping lanes. What has resulted in that is the Americans have started to fix their system. Shipping lanes have now been diverted from Canada to the United States, and we're left there, holding the bag. They literally can't move product. So yes, our farmers are ready to take on that burden of helping fill the void in Europe, but we logistically can't do it because of Liberal inaction and the Canadian Infrastructure Bank, another Liberal boondoggle. Yeah. Tens of millions of dollars have been poured in that program. Do you know how many infrastructure projects have been built? 0.